Hello guys, Joe with BitRaged. It's Friday, July 20th. I want to give you an update on Bitcoin, the possibilities that we see in the chart right now. So we're kind of stalled out here at this area, and so I want to show you some potential that we may have in the future here for you to trade. So we're at this double top area, very, very close. We also have this trend line. You can see we have two touches on the top and this channel here that we've been trading. Now it's important to realize that this pattern is still relevant. Now if we look at what is currently happening, let's just zoom in here. What does that look like? It looks like an ascending pattern, right? So what would you expect to happen based on what we've seen in the past? If you go ahead and backtest ascending patterns on Bitcoin or any chart, it's going to be the same. Look at this one here. Okay, got an ascending pattern and it sold. Got an ascending pattern here and it sold. Ascending patterns give you the indication that momentum is slowing down and we're likely to see that reverse. So why would that even be relevant? The reason why this is possible is not just because of the ascending pattern. It's because we have that corrective nature. We have this bigger pattern at play. We have a double top area and the trend line. So we have quite a few elements here that could potentially repel the price. The reason why this pattern here is still relevant is this was very impulsive, right? You can't argue with that. It's very impulsive. But if you look at the entire pattern here, the majority of it is corrective. And this has not invalidated the pattern just yet. So what would invalidate the pattern? If, let's say, we move down like this, and then moved up, that would invalidate the pattern. That would give us more of a flag and would invalidate this ascending channel. If we got more of a descending pattern like this, and then that gave us this pattern here, we'd be looking for that buy as well. But when you look at what's happening right now, it's just very corrective in an ascending pattern. So let's look at the 1 hour. All right, so if you look at it, it's very ascending, it's very corrective. This is not your typical bull flag to then see another impulse out of it. Inside of it, we had this ascending channel here that we sold out of, right? And then we just moved into this channel here. So we just moved into a bigger channel from that. But the entirety of this move is just ascending. And so what we could potentially see happen is if this just continues to move like this and it gets all the way to the trend line here, then we see that rejection. It's very, very likely to see this completely turn around and sell. Just based on the current price action that we're seeing, that would create this bigger pattern and that would be still at play. So again, the reason why this is likely is because we do have a double top area. We do have the pattern, the top of the pattern right there, the top of structure. And Bitcoin responds really well to double top areas. Just looking at what's happened in the past, it responds really well. So that is a potential. But it's also possible that from here we form a bigger continuation to then get that sell. So maybe we do sell out of this pattern and then reject down here at the low, create this bigger pattern and then get that buy, right? So that's still a possibility. You can't write that off just yet. Or even if we just move like this in a smaller pattern here, that would give you that indication this is more of a flag. It's going to give us that continuation to buy. The least likely scenario in this case is to see it just impulse out and give us continuation. It's the least likely at this point, but if it does happen, we have to be ready for that possibility. We know that something has changed here and the market is not giving us that sell just yet. Now it's important to note that just because we break any of these areas does not indicate that we're going to go bullish or we're going to see another impulse. How we break it is important. So if we break it impulsively, that's a clear break. We can look for the buy, we can look for a flag to buy that. If we break it correctively and we just see this pattern here move correctively and it breaks the high, that actually makes it better. It creates a higher probability setup. Why is that? It gets people caught in a long here. And then the price reverses and they get taken out, and that fuels the selling. That fuels the move down. And so that's really important to realize. How it breaks is much more important than the fact that it does break. Combined with a corrective ascending channel, the double top area, this pattern here, this bigger bear flag pattern, if it does get validated by this, it's going to be a really high probability and we're going to see a big sell out of it. So that is a potential, that is possible. So quickly to recap, if price continues to move in this ascending channel and it's very, very corrective, it gets to the trend line here, or even breaks it, goes a little bit higher, but continues to move correctively in this ascending channel, it's very, very likely that you will see that break to the downside. And how you would take that is you would have an entry below the pattern. So an entry just below the trend line to get tagged in if it does drop. The reason why you wouldn't just, let's say, jump in on a trade in the middle of the pattern is because you don't know how deep this could correct, and you don't know that this could just impulse straight out. It's the least likely scenario, and if this was, let's say, euro dollar, I would not be expecting that at all, and it'd be very, very, very unlikely for that to happen on euro dollar. But this is Bitcoin. It's not perfect, and we don't always get the cleanest of setups. So be aware of that. But if we do see that confirmed break of this ascending channel at any point here, it doesn't have to go all the way to the trend line or all the way to the double top. If we see a clear break at any point here, then that is when you'd want to get in on this position as a short, because we do have all these factors in this area. So it's pretty simple. We have corrective ascending nature. That would give you a sell normally, and if we continue like that, getting the sell is going to be very, very likely just based on the pattern. If we do get an impulse out, just look for continuation to then buy that. But that would be less likely at this point. If this pattern evolves in any way and forms more of a flag, it gives us more of a descending pattern, it's going to be more and more likely to see this buy. But at this point, it's very ascending, it's very corrective, and given all the points we have here to repel the price, I think it's very likely that we'll see that sell at this point. So I hope that gives you some options. You can see the potential in the chart and you're not shocked if anything happens. You're prepared for every scenario. That's really how you have to be as a trader. You can't be shocked by what the market gives you. If you're shocked, you didn't do your work properly because you didn't forecast some of the scenarios. You didn't foresee some of the scenarios happening. When you're a trader, you really have to foresee every single scenario happening. And that comes with experience. You're not going to get it right away. You're not going to jump into a chart day one and see every possible scenario, but the better and better you get at it, the more possibilities you're going to see, and the market is never going to surprise you. So that is Bitcoin. If you have a question, leave it in the comments. I'll do my best to get to as many as possible. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.